Alright guys, welcome back. There's something I wanted to talk about with you. I couldn't find the original Google Docs, unfortunately. I typed in the link that you can see in Jesse's video, but then again, couldn't really find it. I guess you have to be invited or something. You can see there are different accounts that have access to this. So we are just having this video on basically and talk about this. If you are not aware, you can obviously also go and check the video out and view Jesse's point of view. It's over on his reaction channel, basically on his second channel, but I thought this was very interesting. You can't see it here, but it says WCS 2024 statistics. So this is the statistics from the World Championship, which obviously I have made the video about the top 5 best decks to reach Master 1 with this season, and if you have not seen that, it's in the top right corner, and a lot of my takes were actually from this list. As you might know, I'm a big fan of some data points. I also use Untapped GG as well as Master Duel Meta as the most convincing data points that we have currently on Master Duel, but this is obviously very, very interesting because you have to understand that this is from the Master Duel World Championship, by the way. You have to understand that we are looking at the percentages, coin rate, games won, win rate, total games won when coin flip won, and so on, and when going second, from the best players in the game, the best players playing Master Duel and the top decks in the game. So even though this is the only thing that can be critiqued about this, even though the numbers for some of the decks are quite low, for example, I think here as at Sword Soul or the Super Heavy Samurai Centurion is SHS Centurion, 14 games played. That's a bit low to really make any conclusive like statements, because if you don't understand how statistics work, if the numbers get higher, then the chance of you having a real representation of how the decks win rate really is over a lot of games, you come closer to that basically. And if the numbers are lower, then it's closer to randomness. It could just be the case that if a deck has a 50-50 win rate and you play 14 times, then you might just get lucky and win 14 times in a row, even though that's not that likely. But for example, to win 150 times in a row, as you can see right here, where Fire King Snake Eyes was played 150 times, that's not really possible. It is possible, but it's so unlikely. But with 14 games or with 8, for example, it can definitely happen. So if the numbers are a bit smaller, then this means it's not that representative, unfortunately. So for example, Sprite having a 100%, oh no, it has a 0% win rate, but it's just not that the 2 games and both games were lost. It doesn't mean that Sprite is a bad deck. We don't have the numbers to really say that, but this is very interesting, and I wanted to talk about this basically in conclusion for the Worlds. We can see Fire King Snake Eyes was played the most here. This coincides with me putting the deck at the #1 spot for this month, but actually for the last months. I'm very interested in seeing what the new ban list will bring. You can let me know in the comments what do you think. I think that we won't see big hits to Fire King Snake Eyes afterwards, but you can also make the argument that because we just had Worlds, we could see some big hits. Let me know in the comments what you think. By the way, if you like my videos, please consider subscribing, hitting a thumbs up and the notification bell. This would help us out a lot. So Fire King Snake Eyes games being played 150, coins won 66 and games won 77. So coins won 66, games won 77. So the Fire King Snake Eyes players only won 44% of their coin flips. Obviously, this coin rate, win rate doesn't really tell you anything about the deck. This is just random chance. But this basically you have to compare with the win rate, because we have the coin rate of 44.0, but we still have a win rate of 51.3, which is obviously an above average win rate. And I think that you would even see a better win rate if they had won 50% of the coin toss, which is obviously what you have to expect playing any deck, right? Because normally you will win 50% of the coin rate, and if we had more games here, so for example 15,000, then you would be closer to 50% here, because as higher as you get, the higher the number gets to the average. Now with a win rate of 51.33, which might seem a bit low, but then again we have to look at the coin rate here in order to understand whether this deck was even good. This is something that I find very interesting when we see or look at decks that have won like a YCS, which we never ever see how many coin flips they won, because if you have won every coin flip, then it's not a big surprise that you won the YCS. Obviously, you have to play good still, but this is something I really like it when we have a lot of data here. Very interesting. Total games when the coin flip was won were 41. So win rate when one coin, so when going first, basically, you could also call it this, Win rate when going first with Viking Snake Eyes is 62.12, and there's something very interesting here in my opinion to see on this spreadsheet, but we'll come to that in a moment. And then total games when the coin flip was lost, so going second, you only have 42.8.6. Very interesting here. You can see that definitely going first is better. It's not a big surprise. Then again, with my master climbs I did in the beginning, I really tracked all of my master climb games, and I also had games played close to the number of 150. And for me, back again, I was, for example, playing Dragon Link. For me, these numbers were always a bit closer when going first or going second. But you can also see here that going first has a big impact, but maybe not the biggest impact, maybe not as big as an impact as we sometimes think. Then again, if you look at yugioh, for example, here you can see that the impact of winning or going first is even a bit higher, 70% versus 45%. And you can see we have played 84 games of yugioh, and they also have this coin rate that is basically close to 50%, and a win rate of 75.14, which is the highest win rate on the spreadsheet if we exclude all of these here on the left side that have low numbers that we can't really grab to make conclusions about. So yugioh definitely the thing that I would have put here in the second category, and you can also make an argument that it might even be stronger than Fire King Snake Eyes. Then again, it also has won a bit more coin flips, so this might also be because of that. We have 80 Tearlament games. We have won the coin flip 43%, and it has a 51.25 win rate here, basically the same as Fire King Snake Eyes. And we can see right here the win rate when going first as well as the win rate when going second is pretty close to Fire King Snake Eyes all in all. Not that great win rate when going first, which I would have thought would be a bit higher, but we also have to understand that when players played tier elements, they really gave the players the tier element stack that were best with it. So for example, Jesse over here also played tier elements, and he's obviously very good at the deck, or Quantal played tier elements on Joshua Schmidt's team, which has also played tier elements last year around. We have Branded 76 with win rate. We have a good coin flip win rate here, which Branded is obviously something you could still make the gimmick puppet lock work. Oh, could you make the gimmick? Oh no, sorry, you couldn't. But you can make a different lock work, right? The gimmick puppet lock is still possible in TCG. But yeah, we can see a 39% win rate, which is actually very, very bad if you look at the number. So 57 is a good coin flip win rate. So it went first quite a lot, but only has a 50% win rate when going first, and only a 25 when going second. So extremely bad, coming up to a 39. So Branded, if we look at this here, and a 76. This is quite a high number. We can definitely draw some conclusions from this. Branded does not seem to be as powerful after the hits. I think if the gimmick puppet lock would still be possible, then we would see a better win rate here, a higher win rate when going first, because locking your opponent basically meant game. But yeah, Branded seems to have suffered a lot here. We have Voices Voice, one of the newest additions here. A lot of people brought it also, 36%. We have a coin rate of 50%, very cool, so really close. And then 33%, the worst win rate of them all. When going first, 50%, when going second, 16%, which is definitely not much. But we can see 60%. This is very, very bad. But we knew already that Voices Voice going second is quite bad. But now we also have kind of the confirmation that it's also not that great going first, especially compared to the other decks here. You have to understand that obviously when you are playing on the ladder, depending on where you play, these numbers might look a bit different, because on ladder in, for example, gold, if you play Voices Voice, you will not face mostly Fire King Snake Eyes and mostly yugioh like they did in the tournament here, and mostly tier elements obviously, but different decks, and then this might look a bit different. So don't look at this and then conclude that your favorite deck is just bad. We have Pearly here, 33. We have coin rate, a very good coin rate, and then a very abysmal win rate here. So Pearly definitely not that great. Going first and going second both kind of work, but yeah, Pearly a bit power crept in my opinion. And then we have Super Heavy Samurai Centurion here with one of the highest win rates, 64. But then again, now we are at the point where we have these low numbers, 14 games, Rescue Ace 13 games. Centurion also very strong with 66% when going first, when going second here. But from this point on, I think the numbers are not that, you can't really tell anything from this because of what I just explained in the beginning. And then we saw some few players here playing rogue-ish decks, you could call them, and not really being successful with this. But yeah, I thought this very interesting and wanted to share this with you. And I think the biggest takeaway that we can have from this is that Bandit definitely is at a weaker point. A lot of people were playing Bandit before, but it just might not be that great. And this is not even because there are a lot of Bestials in these decks here on the top. There aren't really. Bandit is just maybe not that great without the ability to lock, and we can also see Voice's Voice really not that great. Telements, I guess a lot of people would have expected to be like still a good deck, but if we look at these Telement here, then we kind of have to conclude that it might be kind of on the same level as the Viking Snake is, because with the same coin rate, win rate, and then the same win rate. But then again, as I already said, Telements were played by very successful players, and from this spreadsheet we have to conclude that Yugioh might just be the strongest deck in the room. Then again, we would need a bit more data to conclude on this. But guys, let me know in the comments what you think of this. Where is your deck placed here? How much do you trust the numbers, or are you just the guy playing on ladder, having fun? Let me know in the comments. I'm happy to hear from you, and we will see each other in the next one.